All right. Well, what is up, y'all? My name is Cole Wright, your host of the Three Wiggle Golf Show, where we talk shop, always go 4-2, and never, ever three-putt. First, thank you guys all for tuning in and listening in. Guys, welcome to episode 1 of season 2 of the Three Wiggle Golf Show. I'm excited to bring you guys another season. The first year was awesome. Rory winning the Grand Slam. So many great things to kick off and talk about that year. With episode 1, kicking off season 2, I've got a guest on the show. He's an experienced traveler. He is a best-selling author, absolute golf nut. That is abundantly clear if you will read his book. And just seems to be like a great guy all the way around. We've talked for about all of 2 minutes and 30 seconds before what you're hearing now. So we are live. Guys, on the show, we've got Mike Berland. Mike, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited, and I'm curious what the numbers are back of you.
That'd be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was Michael Jordan. You know, he's a big part of my book because of Grove 23 and just the whole way he sort of took what he loved and just made it his, like sort of intersection of the basketball court and the golf course.
Yeah. One of the notes I actually took down that I wanted to mention to you was literally about the Grove and how, you know, he made it to where the clubhouse and the golf course blend together and they're not these like two separate things. I thought that was a really cool note. I've not played the Grove, but that was interesting.
I haven't played it either, but the idea of like the basketball court and the stands, right? The players go flying into the stands, the ball goes in the stands. Why shouldn't that happen on the golf course? Like it's all, you know, it's so closed off. Maybe there's a patio, but I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah. So anyways, that was an interesting note. So Mike, obviously, you know, you just wrote this book, not about golf. Kind of I was saying, I'm halfway through it. I'm excited to get to the end of it. You know, what was your overall emphasis when starting that venture? Because you've written another book before that, correct?
Yeah, I wrote a book called Maximum Momentum, how to get it, how to keep it. And the books actually go together because I wrote Maximum Momentum and I was looking at how do people, how do brands, how do sports get momentum? And as I was doing this, I realized that golf has momentum. Golf has sick grassroots momentum post-COVID because it was the only sport we could do. A lot of people got into the game. They realized it's outside. They realized it was fun, that this golf intimidation that we talked about wasn't true if you just wanted to have a good time with your friends and you know, go on a great walk. Golf was perfect. And so the book, not about golf, was it's not a book on tips and tricks on how to get a better score. It's how to have a better time, how to get more fulfilled and be more engaged in golf. And for me, that was always the most important part. I came to golf later in life, 22. So I don't know if I was ever going to be a natural golfer, but I had a lot of fun. I was able to keep the ball in front of me and I had the best conversations, the best friends, and golf really became an important part of my life. In fact, I just picked up my clubs. I'm going out to play tomorrow. Like I'm playing a lot and I'm working full time.
Man, that's the dream. Play golf every day. Play golf all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, play golf all the time if that's not all you do, right? You got to have something before golf and you have to have something after golf or the golf, it won't seem as significant. Like you got to, golf has to be special.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, there was, I just got to the point in the book. Let's see, where did I stop at? Golfing with new people is like a blind date. I thought that was such an interesting note. I was like, man, that is so wildly true because you take that risk, if you will.
Yeah. You want to get out of it.
And most of the time I feel like it goes great, but occasionally it does go wrong, you know? And that's
when you're a threesome or a twosome at a course and they're going to add someone into your group, I think they're nervous. You're nervous because you just don't know what's coming. And we all hope for that great partner that's going to be engaging and have a similar game and, you know, enjoy our banter and enjoy our style. But you could get someone, I've had people say, I don't like chit chat. Or I've had someone say, don't talk to my ball. I'm like, what do you mean don't talk to your ball? It's like you hit the ball and, you know, like stay straight, go long, whoop, you know, hold on. He's like, don't talk to my ball. I'm like, your ball's not listening.
Yeah. Right.
So it is. But I think mostly I've had great experiences And if you have someone who's not a great experience, you can kind of ignore them, go walk your way or take your card or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so the first thing I really wanted to get into and talk about with your book, Mike, is the barriers to entry in golf. I feel like that is a huge point of contention for people that see the game from the outside in, who aren't exposed to it, who just don't know. There's a lot of misnomers out there. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I wonder, as I've gotten deeper into it, I wonder if it's in their head. Like, I wonder if like the golf intimidation and the way that we've perceived golf to be so exclusive, right? You have to wear, you have to wear a collared shirt. You have to, make a tee time or join a club you have to buy the clubs. We've made it sound like it's so exclusive and it's hard to get to. And the truth of the matter is golf couldn't be more inclusive. You can now you can learn how to play golf in a simulator inside where they're all over the place. It's very inexpensive. You can get a great experience. You can rent clubs, you can borrow clubs. There's a lot of different ways to come at golf. And so I think the barriers that people create, we have to do as much as we can to say, wait a minute, it's not that hard. It's not that intimidating. It's not that expensive. It's not that bro. It's all these things that it's not. There's more women than ever playing golf. There's more Gen Z playing golf. People like to be outdoors. And if you don't like to be outdoors because you don't have that much time, go play in the simulator. It's never been more accurate to go to a bar with your friends and have a cocktail and swing the golf club. It's a really good time, and you're going to get these dopamine rushes. And we've got to do a better job of not making it sound so hard.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oftentimes, I'll talk to people at work or just like casually out and about at whatever it is, whatever social event it is, where you don't actually know everybody individually, but you're meeting people. And golf will get brought up for whatever reason because people know I do golf. I love golf. Right, it's a big part of my life. And their first words are almost always, I'd love to do it. And then one of those 7 or 8 justification flies out of their mouth. You know what I mean? That they have in their head. And I'm always like, hey, let's just go out. Like I'll take you to a simulator. We don't have to head outside. We can go to a range. Let's just do it. Just try it, because something in the book, which everybody knows this, which is the first time you catch that sweet spot, there's nothing better, man. You're hooked. You're fish on. You're done.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it's been perpetuated. I think people who don't golf make up reasons why they don't golf, and people who do golf really well. Like, what's your handicap?
I'm a +4.
Okay, so you qualify. One of those people who golf really well. They create this image. You don't want to golf with me. You don't want to golf. I'll slow you down. And all my experiences, I'll ask you, do you mind playing with the 15 handicap and having a casual round of golf if it's good conversation?
Well, I'm a social person, but 90% of my rounds are with a 15 handicap, right? Unless I'm playing tournament golf. Most all of my friends are 15, 20 handicaps. My coworkers and customers and business acquaintances that I play with are all 15, 20 handicaps. But the social atmosphere and the conversation experience far outweighs the extra 10 minutes I'm waiting on them to play an extra 20 shots or whatever.
That's when people get confused. They think you're not having a tournament round against us. If we beat you with our 15 handicap, you're not going to go home and say, like I heard Scotty Scheffler say when he goes to his club, he gets beat by the people with the 7 handicap because it's hard to beat them with strokes.
Yeah, right.
And tournament golf is tournament golf. That's when you're going to see what your game is and what your mental is and how good you're at. Playing social golf, right in your mind, it's social golf.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You tune them out. You just immediately tune them out. And there is the competitive kind of like undertone that comes with like setting up a game between you two, but knowing that like it's not tournament golf. Not everybody's zero. You know what I mean? Like you just disconnect the two.
Yeah. I love playing with you, people like you, because like I like to see the shots you hit. I like to see, like it gives me ideas of different options. And like it's usually fun to watch. And it doesn't happen in tennis. If we were playing tennis together, we can't play together.
Yeah.
Because it's really it won't be fun for you at all. And it won't be fun for me. Either you're gonna crush me or I'm gonna bore the shit out of you. Like it's just not and that's why golf works. Because we can go from the same tee box. If you want to go back, or I want to go back, like there's so many different options. But when we get to 100 yards in, we're both trying the same shot.
Yeah, 100%. No, I couldn't agree more. So, you talked about the couple things like the collared shirt and the club and the membership and all that stuff. But like, I think about how I grew up and got exposed to golf. I grew up in a tiny town in Northwest Missouri, 200 people, where we had a 9-hole course with no cart pass and no bunkers. But that was not an excuse not to go golf if you had any interest at all, right? So I took a set of clubs out there and played this golf course and fell in love. Because I think, again, the minute you get out there and being outside and walking, the disconnect from the world, like all those things, I just don't feel like there are good excuses not to golf. So I think, kind of like you said, being more encouraging to try to bring people in as opposed to just telling them what it's going to cost.
Yeah. And look, that course that you played, I'm sure you still remember those shots today. Like you learned there's a lot of different things that you did on that course to make it fun to see what how low you could shoot. I don't think you need a championship golf course or that 9-hole course. You got the golf ball and the golf club in the head. Like those are the things you got to work out. And golf is fun and rewarding and hard in every situation.
Yeah. Well, the innate challenge of golf I think is what draws people in the most. That's why you see all these professional athletes from other sports migrating to golf more and more and more because they understand what a challenge it is.
And they can't get hurt. Like the one thing I'll say about golf is it's a challenge to get hurt in golf. Like you've got to, of course it can happen, but the injuries are fewer and far between. And so it gives you longevity and it allows you to play. Like I was an Ironman doing races, and that takes a toll on your body, like doing, 12 hours of swimming, biking and running. But if you do 36 holes of golf walking, if you're in shape, you're going to be fine. And if you're going to carry your bag, maybe you should be under 40, or you better get your back in shape.
Make sure you eat enough, right? You're going to burn a ton of calories. Walking 15 miles. So make sure you eat enough. But that and hydrate, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I played the Solstice in Bandon Dunes, which is they play 4 rounds on June 20th. And I used a caddy because I don't think I could carry my bag. But when you play 72 holes of golf's so much more fun because you don't think about every shot because there's another one coming. And you start making putts and hitting shots because you're more concerned about time than you are about the quality of your game. And suddenly the quality of your game becomes much better because you're thinking about time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, Mike, we're going to pivot just for a second because it's mentioned in your book, and there's some things I just want to talk about with you. 2004, you played Augusta?
Yeah. I played
for the first time. You played it many times now, right? But for the first time,
I played a couple times, but that was the first time, and I didn't do my homework. Like I really didn't do my homework. Well, because my stepfather Greg, he would sit in front of the TV Masters weekend and watch every shot, and I hadn't done it before, so I knew I was going to a special place, but I didn't know every shot, every blade of grass. I didn't know the crow's nest. Like I didn't know everything that I know now. I could tell you every inch. I could tell you every, everything, every detail, all of it. But I didn't know it then, and it just blew my mind. And the Masters is the tradition of golf, and once you have the tradition of golf, because it lives at the Masters, you never lose it.
Yeah, I've never been. I know plenty of people that have been, and I always hear the same thing. It's just like it's the definition of awe-inspiring. You said you absolutely shanked one into the pro shop off the first.
Oh my God! Yeah, right. Oh, that was such a bad shot. It literally went 45 because like you're lifting your head, you're not swinging through, and it just went off, and you just wonder like how could I hit that bad of a shot? And because I was so nervous and tense, and then they just pretend like they didn't see it.
Yeah,
they're like hit another.
Yeah,
and then it was fine, and then you're off. But I was never nervous again. Like once, because you realize it's a huge that is a huge open fairway. It's uphill. It's downhill and uphill, but it's, I mean, you'd carry because we're playing for the membership, you would carry that bunker and it'd be a really easy shot. For me, I can't. I can get it to the left of the bunker on the right, but I've only carried it a few times.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine your first tee shot at Augusta National, tournament or not, playing partners or not. I mean, you want to hit the fairway more than anything. You know what I mean?
And those trees are like, there's a lot of stuff. Like if you pull it a little bit, there's those trees on the left are in, like, there's a lot of stuff in play if you don't hit like a somewhat straight shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about the rest of that round? I mean, there's so many iconic holes out there. I mean, the second hole, par 5, is just a great hole. You know what I mean?
So
you walk down this huge hill and
it was just because the caddies are really amazing ambassadors. So their storytelling, their job is they're the ambassador to the course. So they're calming you down. They're telling you stories. I mean, they're making Jim Nantz look like a rookie. Like they're so good at just telling stories. And there's one caddy to each of you, so that was really nice. And the experience kept getting better and better. And then watching it on TV afterwards, and then I'm like, oh, on hole 4, the par 3, hit it left where the stands are, versus hit it right into the bamboo,
Yeah.
And so like all of these things became apparent to me, and like now watching, like I'll make asshole comments like I'm on 11, I'll say, well, this is where I hit it, and they're like, who cares where you hit it, because they want to see where the pros hit it.
Yeah, right.
But it's great, and Augusta, you really can't lose a ball unless you put it in the water.
Yeah,
which
right.
I mean, amen corner, obviously you can put it in the water, but it's designed. They didn't want, Bobby Jones didn't want the course for you to lose balls. That wasn't going to be the experience. The experience was going to be, are you going to hit it in the right place? Tricky greens, ups and downs are hard to score, but it's not hard to have a good time. Like you can easily score 95 to 105 and feel like you had a great round. It will be hard to go sub 80.
Yeah. Tell me about the greens. You've obviously played, so I think so far in the book, obviously you played Pebble and Spyglass and Spanish Bay, and the list goes on. So you've played the best of the best when it comes to greens. Is Augusta something different? I feel like that's really a talking point every year.
Augusta, no matter what the external conditions, it can be 40 degrees, it can be raining, it can be doing all these things. Their greens snap to in a second because they've got this amazing system to drain the greens and to get them going. What I experience is, and this is where the great caddies come in, is you've got to put the ball in the right spot or you're not going to stop it. You're not going to make it. And and they're obviously fast and they get faster, right? So for the members, when it's non-tournament, it's playable for Augusta. As you get closer into April, right, with tournament time, it's impossible. It's absolutely, because you see the pros have so much trouble. Imagine an amateur, like you just get lucky or it just rolls off the green. And
absolutely.
I'm thinking on the first hole, we were talking about that before. I can't tell you how many times I should have gotten a par or a bogey and I end up with a double or a triple because I just not ready for the Augusta greens.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think back, to Europe. You're at a point in your early, golf exposure playing life, which is basically, I'm guessing at that point, that's only like 6 or 7 or 8 years after you started playing, maybe?
Certainly within the first 10.
Yeah. So you don't know anything about Augusta. You don't have any idea what you're getting yourself into as far as these greens, their undulating surfaces, the roll-offs, the speed, the wonky lies in the fairways.
Right.
Oh my gosh, man. That's
But it's a beautiful naivete. It's not because I didn't want to. It's because I didn't appreciate that, that a downhill, that a side hill, that an uphill, like all those things are so important because I'm not trying to break 80.
Yeah, right. No, you're just trying to get the ball up there and in the hole.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to keep the ball going straight. So it's different priorities. Like when I play holes now, I'm thinking about I'm not thinking about I'm taking into consideration a lot more because my game is I'm more comfortable playing the game. Just as if in my job, if I have to write an essay or if I have to write a memo thing, like things that come easier as you get better, you have to take into consideration more factors. And so now I see some of the trouble that I was in and I had no idea. Like I remember the 10th hole just being on the wrong side of the green and not having a chance. But at the time,
Did you hit it
didn't realize,
right?
like, I was so happy. Yeah, I was left, right? I just, but I was just so happy to be down there in two and not realizing that even though I'm there in two, I have no chance of getting anything other than a bogey or a double bogey. Because just where I am.
Yeah. I want to note something. I'm laughing as you're making some of these comments. And I hope you know that I'm not laughing at you as much as I am laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because I think what it's important because you're what's your handicap? You're like a 15?
14-5. 14-5.
Okay. Okay. So I played with so many of you guys. And you don't strike me as the type of guy to get angry and throw a fit on a golf course. But I play with plenty of amateurs who will get mad and they'll throw a fit when they hit a bad shot. And it's interesting because one, they don't allocate the time to actually get better, to go from a 30 handicap like yourself to a 15. They just stay where they are and they get mad about it without any practice. But what's important to note is like better golfers have all hit equally as awful of shots as you guys have. I know I can think of the hundreds of times that I put myself in the exact same position you're just talking about. So I'm laughing at those moments, as you're reminiscing those, in your golf life. It's just it's a funny thing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I wonder why people throw clubs or get angry. I'm like, what's going on with you? Like, it's golf. Like, like one, you could be off like just like this much and you can shank it, or you can be late, or you can chunk it, or it can be wet. There's so many factors that you've absolutely no control over, or you can hit the most perfect shot ever and the green has a bump in it. And it just so it doesn't matter. Like, just move on. And I look for those. I really won't play with someone. If someone's gotten angry and, threw their club into the ground or chucked it into the water, I don't need to play with that guy again. Like, it's too tense. It's not enjoyable.
I don't have any interest in doing that.
No interest, right?
It was exactly like you said earlier. Like, I'll separate myself for the remaining 7, 9, 12 holes, but we're not going to play golf again because I don't want to associate on the golf course with somebody who's kind of acts like a lunatic at times,
Yeah. Over something. And I in the book I write, by the 14th hole, you can see into someone's soul. You can see them have a good moment, a bad moment. You can stress, celebration. You've seen them go through every possible emotion. And you know what they're like as a person. Were they helpful? Did they help you look for your ball? Were they generous? Did they shit talk you or, trash talk you in a way that, why are you doing that? I don't need trash talking. So I find the people I want to golf with, I golf with all the time.
Yeah.
And the people I don't want to golf with, sometimes I'm forced to play with them in a match of some sort, but I just stay away.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Man, okay. So you played Augusta. It was an incredible experience.
You should try to get, it's a process to try to get tickets. Like if that's on your bucket list, not to play, to just go watch the match.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's just a process. Like you just have to stay in it.
Yeah, well, you have to. It's a lottery every year.
It's a lottery, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to basically just enter every year and hope that you get your 4 tickets.
But I do think it works out. Like I think if you just go at it, because it happened to my son and his friends, like they wanted to go watch it, and I said, just go in the lottery. It's a fair process, and I think Augusta even, if they see someone scalping or if they see people overcharging, they'll block those tickets. Like they're really good about keeping it open because they want more people to be on site.
Yeah. No, you're right. I should. I'll do it next year. I saw it was just maybe a month ago that the entries closed for 2026 Masters.
Can you believe that? Like how far in advance that is?
Yeah. 6-8 months.
But there's other great. I mean, the experience at the Ryder Cup, that might be. I mean, look, the Masters has so much tradition, but the Ryder Cup might be so much louder and more like a Super Bowl Like, what was it like at Whistling Straits? Was it because the golfers are all of a sudden coming alive as athletes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was the most surreal golf experience. So I've only been to a couple events. So I went to the 2018 PGA Championship for a couple practice rounds. So that was when Brooks Koepka won and Tiger was in the hunt and shot 64 on Sunday. So
Wow.
that was
Okay.
huge. But then I went to the Ryder Cup or in 2021 with Whistling Straits, and that was way bigger than the PGA Championship, like not even remotely close. I anticipate that the Masters is like at the same level or right around it, but it was so the emotion that the guys show for their team and the country is it like far surpasses like their celebration for individual accolades, which I think is like a beautiful thing. Um, and the amount of banter between like European fans that are there, tons of guys that came across the pond, and all
Right.
the US fans, and then on top of that, the players. It was just, yeah, it was remarkable. We got to the first tee, so we had tickets for, I believe it was Thursday and Friday, or
Yeah.
sorry, Friday, Saturday,
Oh, okay. So
and
that's by
just
Saturday,
the
the
first.
Europeans were feeling it, right?
Yes,
They
they
were
had the
feeling
lead
some
early.
hurt.
Yeah, we got blown out of the water on the first day, but we got there early enough to sprint through the gate to try to run to get a seat in the stands for the first tee, and we
Right.
did. We about tore some hamstrings on the way there, but
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah.
have you played Whistling Straits?
No, I have not. I would
Oh, see,
love to.
I played that one. That's easy. You just have to make a tee time. But that's a fun, challenging course where if the wind wasn't too bad during the Ryder Cup, right? If the wind starts to whip, it's pretty hard.
Saturday afternoon, it got pretty gusty.
Right.
I remember because we were standing right on, I think it was 17, which is that
Oh yeah,
par
17.
five right on the lake.
Yeah.
So
And then
so you could definitely feel it there, but maybe some of those holes that are a hair more with some of the hills between them, maybe weren't so bad, but yeah.
what's that par? Isn't there a par three right before 17 is 16 a par three? It's like a
Yeah,
really narrow. Imagine hitting that hole from your tees, like a 240 par three with the wind.
I know over the lake. Yeah, I would duck hook it 55 yards left before I would hit that ball in the water.
Yeah. So hard.
Oh my gosh. So we mentioned it earlier. Let's talk about COVID. How great was COVID for the game of golf, Mike? Because I mean, it just by virtue of you got to be 6 feet apart, like that in and of itself made
I
tea
think
time.
I think that will be the moment that people discovered golf, that they enjoyed playing golf, and that golf is growing from the grassroots. And that's the difference. So I think golf grew because of the stars of golf, Tiger Woods,
Yeah.
Arnie Palmer, Jack Nicholson. That's where golf was going before. But this is different. Right now, the players are not going golf. They're in a fight with Live and the PGA, and like there's some great players playing golf, and we'll have fun at the Ryder Cup. But they're not growing the game. The game is growing because of COVID, because all the people who discovered golf during the pandemic and saw that golf was for them. And I think that's a much more sustainable way to grow the game. And you're bringing in a more diverse crowd. And that's why I'm saying that I think even the equipment manufacturers have it wrong a little bit, because I don't know if the golfers who came in want to hit the ball longer. They just want to hit it. They just want to hit it. They want to hit it straight. And so I think there's going to be like this sort of reconciliation of there's two different golfers out there. There's performance golfers and there's golfers who are social golfers.
Yeah.
And the social golfers don't care if they change the golf ball. If the golf ball can't go as far, that's hardly their issue. And golf is going to have to start to cater. And did you see Peter Millard just put out this new line of clothes that are a lot more casual? Like Peter Millard, the most, sort of the quintessential golf brand, is now putting out, less, more sort of Jimmy, more sort of athletic stuff, and not
like
and not so like wait. Like that, why shouldn't you be able to play golf in that? Like I fought with my club for years because they wouldn't let me wear a hoodie. And I'm like, they're wearing a hoodie at the PGA Championship. Have
they loosened up on that one right there?
What?
Did they loosen up on that rule yet?
Yeah, they relented this year.
Good.
You could buy a hoodie in the pro shop, but you couldn't wear it on the course. Because I thought, remember when they played Harding Park in
Colin Morikawa was wearing a hoodie.
I think Colin Morikawa was that he looked so comfortable.
And it was like, and when I saw it, I was like, yeah, hoodies on the golf course was my first thought. Right.
Obviously. So now I like to. So now that Pinot Millar, that's a big signal. If they're realizing that golf, if the dress code needs to be relaxed, that's a big sign to me. And they have this long explanation of why they did it, and I'm just like, because athleisure feels good and people like it, and they want to be comfortable outside. Like it's a little bit,
golf is just active enough that like working out in khakis and a stiff polo isn't the vibe. Like you want to be in, honestly, man, like if I could, I'd play in sweatpants in the winter and a hoodie, you know what I mean? And in the summertime, just playing like shorts and a t-shirt.
Like you probably missed that. Did you ever play in like those stiff Gap chinos or the ones with the pleats that were just so?
Yeah, I had the pleats.
Okay,
awful. You felt like you were wearing cardboard pants.
What?
You felt like you were wearing cardboard pants.
Yeah, now it's all stretchy and it blocks the sun. Doesn't keep the water in. It used to be like if it was raining, those pants just got so wet.
Yeah, they were awful.
They were really awful.
Oh man. Okay, so another question I had for you, Mike. In what ways does the game model emotional control, decision making, and strategic thinking? We kind of touched on this a little bit, playing with guys that throw a fit, and that's one thing, but like emotional control, decision making, and strategic thinking, those are like 3 really crucial skills that if you can do them well on the golf course, you're probably translating that to other areas of your life.
Yeah. It's fascinating on the golf course of how many decisions you're making every second of what shot, where, what club, and if you play a smart game of golf, you're going to do better and you're going to have more fun. If you play a reckless game of golf, you might do well and you might blow up. And I think that's kind of on life, is understand the risk reward of situations, understand what your capabilities are, and function within that. And that's the key of a good leader, who doesn't take the company off the cliff because they've taken so many risky shots, and know when to take, and know when to have your moment. The biggest lesson for me in golf was getting into flow. And I learned how to get into flow on the golf course. And then I got into flow and everything else in my life. And in business, I always had flow because it came naturally to me. Like I went to a sports, a performance coach, and he said, well, when you're making a presentation, do you ever get the data wrong? I'm a pulseman. Do you ever get the data wrong? Do you ever insult the client? Do you ever like fall down or, I said, no. He says, well, why do you think that would happen on the golf course? If you can do it in life, you can do it on the golf course. You have to have that same level of confidence. And he gave me some techniques to get into flow. And whenever I'm playing golf, or now when I'm in business, if I see my brain sort of wandering, I'll go into flow. And the way I get into flow is 5 things I can see, 4 things I can hear, 3 things I can smell, 2 things I can touch. What's the other one? Not taste. There's one other, but I go to these 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you go into this exercise, you get so distracted because like I can't even remember what the last one. You get so distracted that you go in. By the time you get back to golf, your mind's clear and you can hit the shot.
Yeah. It sounds to me like the way you just described all those things are, quick actions or decisions in your senses, meaning it brings you present. Like, is that ultimately what it is?
It has to be present. You have to be present.
Just get yourself immediately present in the moment, and then you're locked in and focused on that, and you're blocking out everything else.
Everything disappears. Like I used to see my golf ball going, hitting a shot and seeing it. What if it goes into the bunker? And like as soon as you say, "What if it goes in the bunker?" your body's gonna say, "Okay, hit this ball into the bunker." And so I have to get that thought out. So like, let the leaf go down the stream and start again. Clear it out, and this 5-iron goes 180, and it's gonna go right on the green.
Mike, I
always hit my 5-iron 180.
I'm so happy you brought this up because I see this, and I immediately try to assuming I've got like permission to help somebody with golf, because I am definitely not the guy that's out there telling people what to do with their golf swing. That's not me. But when somebody realizes that you have some skill in a certain area, they want to pick your brain. So I let them, right? I've seen this hundreds of times where it'll be on the tee box and they'll say something out loud. Don't hook it left. And then they'll swing and they hook it left. Or they'll say, don't hit it in the bunker. Or we'll say, don't duff this chip. And I immediately am like, hey, listen, you just put all your emphasis on doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like, you get to a point, you've done this now where you can block it out, but, you know, I'll say maybe single digit handicap and better, roughly. Most of the time, they don't even see the trouble because they're looking solely focused on hitting the target, which is off the tee, it's the fairway or the green, right? Or it's the right side of the fairway or it's the right side of the green. When it's hitting the putt, it's hitting your line. You're not thinking about, is there a bump in the green that's going to knock, right? You're not thinking negative. You're always thinking positive, aggressive towards the target. And when you can train yourself, like what you're talking about, you're going to start seeing leaps and bounds in your progress.
Yeah, no, it's hard to listen to that because until you've experienced it, it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
But when you experience it, like some of the best shots I've hit is because I was like, I'm just going to hit the best shot I can. And then it turns out to be the best shot I can. You know, and once I played with confidence, golf became so great. I read in the book about, I've taken lots of lessons. I'm not going to say I didn't.
I've heard thousands. I read the word thousand.
But the best lesson I took was in Spanish, where I didn't even understand the guy. And all of a sudden the lesson had impact. Because I realized now he was working on my grip and he was working on my setup. But that's all he was doing, is like getting me to square the club face and to have a good athletic swing. And it worked. And like all the other stuff I'd been working on over the years went away, because if you have a good if you have a good grip and you do a great replicable swing, golf is mostly going to work out for you. It's, you know, you might get some distances wrong. You might hit a few shots thin. You might hit a few shots fat. I'm telling you, but it's going to work out. And once that happened, I'm a much better golfer.
Yeah.
Like I stopped hooking the balls out. I stopped blocking them.
Yeah. No, I think it's just, golf is hard enough as it is. So for me, and I feel like for a lot of other players, when you let yourself lower the expectation of the shot doesn't have to be perfect, I just have to get in the moment, put the best swing on it that I can, and then let that be what it is, you're going to have a much more enjoyable time out there.
100. Hey, there's like sort of a backlash with people giving advice on the golf course. And I see it both ways. Like I see people who want it and people who don't. But I've noticed a huge backlash, particularly with new women who golf, that they're just like, particularly I think when a male golfer comes and gives advice, they're just like, get away. Like, have you seen that? And it's very typical in the courses I'm playing. They just want to do their thing. They don't want somebody saying, try this, try that. They just want to do it. And that's a real change. And I think it's this new group of golfers who've come in and like, they'll work it out.
Yeah. I mean, so the short answer is no, I've not experienced that because I don't golf around. Our club here in Columbia, Missouri, where I'm a member at, we actually do have quite a few female golfers, but they're kind of all golfing their own group, and my path doesn't ever cross with theirs. However, like I said, I mean, golf is one of those things where you have so many things going on in your head, right? Like on my podcast, I talk a lot about swing thoughts and how you need to eradicate that, and you can have one and only one at a time, or best case is zero. And there's all these things going on. So everybody's trying to process and handle golf their own way. So like, unless I get the chance to build some quick rapport and trust with you and then get your permission to help you, like I steer clear, because I've never had a good reaction from somebody that I gave advice to that I didn't like kind of consult with them about coaching them a little bit beforehand.
100%. I'm not going to even go into gender or because they're going to watch this. I was in a golf group within the last 2 weeks, and I saw someone who had just gone to a clinic, and they stood over the ball on their tee shot for 45 seconds. And I just felt so sad because I'm like, what is going on in your head? Like, this is too much. Like, tilt, do, back, line. I'm like, can't possibly work out. You know, and I'm just, and then they, of course, they jump the ball. And I'm just like, no, you can think before you get up to it, but when you're there, swing.
Yeah.
Because your body knows how to swing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, that is a huge, huge issue. And unfortunately, like we see that on tour quite a bit. And I think the same thing, you know, like
what are they thinking? Are
huh?
the tour pros, do they, I know they have a routine, but what are they doing in the 45 seconds?
Well, so there's only a few players that are really over the ball for that long. Like just Patrick Cantlay is notorious for it.
Oh, he's so slow.
Brian Harmon, same way. I mean, a couple of years ago at the Open when he won, they kind of had a waggle counter on the guy because he takes so long. You know what I mean? So like there are guys that take a long time, but generally most guys are pulling the trigger with it between like 5 and 15 seconds. You know, if you're Ludwig Aber, you're like on the way one side of that spectrum, and then if you're Patrick Cantlay, you're on the other side. And I don't know.
What are they doing I've always wondered, is the waggle beneficial? Are they clearing their brain? Is that the leaf? Are all the thoughts going? What are they doing when they're waggling?
So this is another thing I try to talk about a lot is like golf needs to be, like you brought it up earlier with athleticism, but a little more specifically, it needs to be a reactive sport. Like you need to have a routine that you can rely on that allows you to react to this stationary thing that is not competing against you. Like golf is you versus you, like literally nothing else. A golf course is just a golf course. And so you have to build in a routine that allows you to just react to that routine and not think, right? That's ultimately because everybody has to take the club back eventually. And there's that moment of truth at the bottom that you know that you don't actually know, but hopefully based on your preparation, you're going to deliver, repeated results. And so I always say, I don't know, I'm sure you're familiar with, Bob Rotella, but in his book, Unstoppable Golfer.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah.
He talks about, the think box and the play box. Yeah. And I think that is, whenever I heard that like changed my life. It was like, oh, that is so great for my routine because I can do all that pre-shot prep, wind, trouble, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, in the think box. And then I can make that decision, pull the club, and then, okay, now it's go time. I can just get in the play box, do my quick 11-second routine and swing.
I do that too. Every decision I'm going to make is when I'm behind the ball and when I'm over the ball, just make as long as I'm in the right position, I go.
Yeah.
Like it's just if I'm too far up or too far back, I might go back and reset, but that's it.
Yeah. I think that's,
and I'll deal with the next shot.
Yeah. And then just go ahead, just hit it and go hit it again, and whenever you finish the ball, round, even if you played bad, you're going to go play again tomorrow, stay
I have another one. I have so many balls in my bag.
So Mike, what's your best round? Do you have a hole-in-one?
I don't have a hole-in-one.
Okay.
Which I know the odds of a hole-in-one and I know the luck that's involved in a hole-in-one, but I'm not willing to say that it's not as lucky as people think. That if you have a game that you can sort of hit targets, I think you're more likely to get a hole-in-one. Yes, there's a complete randomness factor. So I don't have a hole-in-one, but I feel like it's coming because I'm starting to hit spots that I like better. I'm getting a lot more birdies. And so, so that's that story, which is sad. My friend who hasn't had a hole-in-one in 20 years has had 2 this season.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'm just like, the golf gods are smiling on you. You're doing something right. Like that. I'm so happy for him because a hole-in-one is like, it's not just, it's a community event. If you get a hole-in-one, you share it obviously with all the people who are golfing and maybe by a drink, but you share with your friends, and they all congratulate and they all want to hear the story. And so I think hole-in-ones are great for golf and they bring people together. Love a hole-in-one.
Yeah.
As long as you're not playing against me in a tournament. Then I'm gonna be
yeah, right. I'm
gonna be like, you got a hole-in-one, knock it off.
Yeah.
And then my low round was a 77 in Chicago at a course that didn't have bunkers. It was a course that had been built on a trash dump. And it was that's a sort of environmental thing. So it was a beautiful course in Chicago, a little bit new. And I was not thinking about golf at all. It was my grandmother's 85th birthday party. We were trying to get a quick round of golf in. And I shot a 77 and I had no idea.
When was this? How recent was
this? This was 2007. This was when I was still, it's just one of those rounds that without the bunkers, I was able to get lucky on a couple shots, and I didn't have that intimidation. So I think that made it a little bit easier, even though I'm a pretty good bunker player, and then I wasn't thinking about golf.
Yeah.
I was thinking about my grandmother and I was doing, and then it just happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I look back and I think like, well, it must have been a hugely open, it wasn't an open course. It was a tight course. It was kind of long. I was just in the groove.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, hopefully more rounds in the 70s to come for you.
I'm now steadily shooting in the mid 80s, which is a huge accomplishment. And I've knocked the triples out. I'm knocking the doubles out. My sort of strategy coach says, look, count how many birdie putts you have. Count how many up and downs you're getting. And if you're starting to get up and downs and you have legit birdie looks, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Golf's going to come together. Like I don't shoot 95 anymore. Like a bad round is 90, 91, 92. And good rounds are starting to get like 82, but I can't, that next leap, as you know, that's tough. That next one is tough because you've got to be playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing I probably see the most is from that, like shooting 83, 84 to shooting 78, 79 routinely is typically like 2 swings off the tee, like 2 lost balls off, where you're playing stroke and distance. And now like you just added a double to the card. Like those are hard to come back from whenever you don't have the ability to really score, like make birdies, So, yeah, straighten it out. Straighten it out a little bit.
Do you think some of these rules are going to get adopted? Like I've heard some speculation, like in casual rounds, non-tournament rounds, that they might revise the stroke. When you hit a ball off tee and it goes OB, they might switch it to like a red stake roll, just to keep pace of play. I've seen a lot of things that are emphasizing pace of play in weekend rounds, like because there's so many more golfers on the course. One of the questions I'll ask my male friends is, when you see a women foursome in front of you, what's your first thought? And like, you don't have to answer, but there's and usually it's that they're slow. And I'm like, we've got to first of all, we've got to get that thought out, and then we've got to take steps so that everybody's moving faster. Because when women golfers see a group of big hitters behind them, they're just like they're spraying in front of them, like they're spraying the ball all over, and they have to look for it. Women, so like I see both sides, but steps to keep the pace of play, that seems like the biggest issue in golf right now.
Yeah, 100%, and it has been for the last few years now, and it's not going away because it's such an issue. Like
we have more people playing golf than ever.
Yeah, and it's great, but nobody wants to be playing a 5-hour round of golf. Like nobody wants that. Like
all up and down every type of golfer, no one wants to play.
Yeah. So, I think like, so there's the out of bounds rule, which I think for like a local rule, just make it
as a local rule. That's what I'm talking
about. As a local rule, just make OB hazard, right? For tournament play purposes, keep it stroke and distance. But like for local rules, when you're just playing on the weekend, lateral hazard all day long. Like that'll speed it up. The other thing I see a lot of is like tee boxes with, markers saying like, if you don't hit the ball 270 yards, or they say something about your handicap and what tee box you should play. I think that it does have, I think that could be, I just don't know how you police that. I don't know.
It's working though. People aren't insulted anymore. Like now, if you say, there used to be like this thing, if you're not going to tell me what tee box to hit from. I think some of that's gone.
Okay.
Like, yes, you can, there's less shame in moving up.
Yeah.
We've got to, but we've also got to move some women back. Like we're getting away from women's tees, senior tees, men's tees. They're just 4 tee boxes, 1 forward, 1 back, 2 in the middle. Some combinations. Like once we get into that sort of naming of it, I think that will work. The other rule, this local rule that they're talking about is if you've got net double, move on.
Oh,
the hole's not getting better for you. Just move on. It's
local
okay.
Rule,
no judgment. No judgment.
Everybody's happy when you pick your ball up and you're not farting around in the weeds and in the bunker taking a
but don't
9.
cheat, right? So that's the other thing. I've heard a lot of like, just don't cheat. If you got an 8, don't say you got a 6. Don't say, because that will just fry everybody around. Like, just you can pick up, and we'll give you a net double bogey, no problem. If you got the 7, whatever it is, and don't cheat though. Just don't cheat.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that happens. But it does happen. And when you see it, it's just like when somebody throws a fit, you immediately lose respect for them because it dings their character. It's like, dude, if you took a 10, just write your 10 down, be proud about it, and then you can laugh about it after the round. That is a shame. I do hate that.
I don't know why people do that. It doesn't really make sense to me. I'm like, who are you fooling? Yourself?
Yeah, probably so. Unfortunately,
I don't know. I don't get why people do it. It drives, because this is what drives people who play golf, like casual golfers and more consistent golfers. This is what drives them crazy. Like spending 5 hours and then cheating. Like, don't do those, because there's some integrity in the sport, which is lovely.
Yeah, right. So the last question I wrote down for you, Mike, and then I'd like to talk to you a little bit about, if we got a few minutes here, just your business side of things outside of, authoring and your golf, passion for golf. So let's talk about the disconnect from, the obvious kind of mandatory disconnect that is between, golf and like the digital world. Like, you have to be on the golf course when you're playing golf. You're not on your phone. You're not working on a laptop. You're not, some guys are taking conference calls and work calls. I get that. But for the most part, you know what I mean? There's an innate disconnect there, which is, I think, like more necessary than ever.
Yeah. You mean that you have to be present in golf? What's the exact question?
Yeah. So how it requires you, like, when you play golf, it requires you to be focused on doing something in nature that's not, tied to a phone and a tablet. So there's lots of Gen Zers, we'll say, that are getting into golf. They can't tweet and do this thing and play golf. And I think that's unnecessary because we're seeing such a populace of people that are diminishing in people skills and being able to hold conversations. Like, I see that a lot with younger.
It's counterintuitive, but the momentum that's happening in golf. But I think that people who are finding golf and enjoying it really love that part of it. That they are outside. It doesn't lend itself to like being on a device. Nobody wants to hear you on a speakerphone. And to be honest, why did you go outside and play golf if you were going to do a conference call? Like, it's just, and so I think that this is the appeal, is that here's a place, and kind of like movie theaters, there's a couple of places where, people don't want you on your device, and it gives you a certain permission to really enjoy it.
Yeah. No, that's a great perspective. I love that you made an analogy to the movie theater, because that's exactly what it is.
You got on your phone in a movie theater and people are like, what are you doing? Like,
when I see, if we're like standing on the tee box playing a foursome and 2 guys are standing there like on their phone, I always look, I'm like, dude, just get off the phone.
Go play with someone else. Really?
That's just me. That's just me. But
I have friends who do it, and I think it kind of keeps them in flow a little bit because they're distracted, but then they're annoying the place. I want to talk to them. I wanted to have chit chat, and you're lost in something.
Yeah. Okay, so Mike, talk to me about your business life. You're a pollster. You've done a lot of campaign work for various people. You worked in tech, worked in and with tech, I guess. You've done a lot of different things. And kind of summarize to listeners what you do.
Well, I started off as a political pollster, working for an audacious congressman who wanted to be mayor of New York named Ed Koch. I worked for President Clinton and Hillary Clinton when she won the Senate in her first race. I worked for Michael Bloomberg, and in politics, I've really learned about, how to have the right issue and the right message to persuade voters to vote. And politics is a really core issue. Is you have Judgment Day, because you have Election Day, you've won or you lost, and you have to get momentum going into Election Day or you lose. If you peak too early, you lose, because then the other can't. If you peak too late, you lose. And so it taught me these skills of find the issue, find the message that communicates to the voter, identify who is your base voter, who is your swing voter, and who's your opponent, and don't get confused on those. And that gave me a great analytical framework for the rest of my life. So then I took the lessons that I learned on the campaign trail and I started to apply it to brands. And if you think about brands that sort of duke it out all the time, Coke versus Pepsi, you know, they're always fighting it out, trying to get market share, you know, yep. United versus Southwest versus American. Like they're always in these battles and coming up with a new issue. And so what about politics is, again, find the issue that's important. Who's the message that's going to work? Who's the target that it will resonate? And how are you going to win? And have a judgment day. As the world became more digital and we started to use social media more, I could now analyze things that we thought were emotional became very rational. So one of these things that people used to talk about is, I have momentum. I have momentum. I've lost momentum. And it used to be this very emotional thing. You got to have momentum in election day, but what does it really mean? So I was able to create a metric called an M factor where I could measure momentum. And do you have it? Have you lost it? How do you get it? How do you keep it? And I had used the M factor to measure everything. And momentum was a very simple physics definition of mass times velocity. Mass was how big and heavy something was, and velocity was how fast was it moving. And so I created a whole company called Decode M on understanding the momentum of a brand, a company. And that's how I found that golf had this momentum, because I saw that more and more people were playing it, that new demographics were coming in. There was different reasons to be playing it. And I identified the drivers of momentum. And so there was disruption, innovation, polarization, social impact, and sticky issues. And I could have a formula. So, you know, why do things get momentum? Why do they catch on? And this has now served me in really all my work that I do for any brand, understanding, do you have the momentum? Have you lost the momentum? How do you get it back?
Got it. And so Decode is still your primary focus today?
Yeah, well, Decode, this is a great story. So I founded Decode in the living room of my apartment on the Upper West Side in New York, with 3 people, and like literally just like this is the equivalent of, you know, starting in the garage. In New York, we don't have garages, we have living rooms. But I started in the living room and I created a company. Then we moved into an office building, which was great. I had this beautiful office with views of the Empire State Building, and built a company to over 20 people. And then we sold it because it was, you know, like the whole thing of momentum is, you know, you have it. I knew we had it. And I thought there was something bigger that we could become. So we sold it to private equity, and private equity bundled together a bunch of companies into a company called Penta. And then Penta was able to grow even bigger. It was using artificial intelligence and really leaning into what was going on. Penta just had another exit less than a month ago and was bought by another private equity firm called Shamrock. And so I'm out. Like, I've exited. Like, the thing with momentum is you also know when it's time to go. That's the best thing, is like the ultimate momentum master knows when it's time to leave. And so I left, and now I'm promoting the book. I'm doing what I love, and I'm thinking about, you know, what's next. And it's, wow. You know, I have this ability to sort of know what's up, what's down, and what's next. And I'm thinking about what's next.
That's cool, man. So like I said, I was doing, obviously, you know, my research on you, and I saw Penta and Decode, and I was like reading about it. I'm like, I don't really know what it is, but I think he's doing some type of consulting with
public affairs.
And Penta's so, anyways,
stakeholder management.
Yeah,
it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. And there's, you know, the world's going through this great AI transformation, and it's interesting to watch how AI comes into all of our lives. And yet, I don't know, golf might be one of those places where
it can remain unscathed.
Well, no, there's just as many golfers who only play in simulators as play on green grass. There's 17 million golfers. It's half and half.
I hit on my simulator in my garage 4 nights a week, and I play on the golf course 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah, we would call you a dually. And the world's become a dually because you're used to hitting on the in the screen. You know it's accurate or accurate enough. It gets you the practice. And the new generations of golfers who've come up with video games are very comfortable with technology. If the ball says it went 220 and it went 5 yards off to the right, I think you'll believe it. TrackMan is incredibly accurate.
Oh yeah.
And so it's gonna have the positive impact there to make golf more inclusive and give you many more options. And then it's gonna give you a respite when you just want to be outside and turn the AI off. Go take a walk.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool to see. I mean, the golfing technology is like, I mean, what could just, I think about every time I just think about that, I think about what the golfers pre-2010 really.
Yeah.
But especially the guys in the 70s and 80s that had nothing, no shot in the barrel, like nothing,
they paced it off. No, before that,
they walked it off. Yeah.
Phil tells this story. He'd walk it off. He'd put a towel at different distances and he'd try to hit the towel.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they were pretty good.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love it, but now if you see it like PGA events, and I think at some clubs, they've got TrackMan on the range. And you can see your shots while you're hitting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's becoming a more and more common thing.
It's pretty cool. And if you're going to charge me for it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. To get my data right there, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like I had that one time I was playing and it was like, there's a TrackMan behind me and I had my 6-iron and like, I was kind of smoking it. I'm like, really? Like this is like, I was watching it. It was going exactly to the spot. It gave me so much confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great for the golf. It's also great for that barrier of entry of people that don't play golf because they don't want to be embarrassed. If you want to get into golf, you can get a net and a mat in your own home and a cheap $200 simulator, and you can start doing it.
Yeah, go to the bar and take a lesson during the day. Yeah. Nobody's going to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, it's been an hour, man, and thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell the folks listening what you want them to know about your book, where to find it, where to buy it, and what's maybe hopefully next for Mike Berland and golf.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you very much. This has been so enjoyable. You can go to notaboutgolf.com or you can go to amazon.com and get the book. You can find me at Not About Golf. And I'm really, my goal is to find and share the best parts of golf, and the social and networking parts of golf are not really spoken about that much. And there's no manual on it. And yet for many of us, that's the most enjoyable part.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, man. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, thanks for having me. I loved it.
Yep. Bye.